My sister, the EC boss, Mensa, when she declared H.E. John Mahama as winner, she said it is finished.
Yes.
But apparently it is not finished. The Electoral Commission of Ghana has appealed for enhanced security to ensure the smooth completion of the recollation process for some 9 constituencies following the December 7, 2024 elections. The Commission has firmly stated that it will not validate results declared under duress or without adherence to proper collation processes, as enshrined in the law. Addressing the media on Thursday, December 19, on controversy surrounding results from 9 outstanding constituencies, EC Chairperson Jean Mensa condemned the actions of political party supporters who disrupted collation activities at constituency centers during the December 7 polls. Quote, at the close of polls on Saturday, the 7th of December 2024, there was a directive by some political party leaders to their supporters to besiege the collation centers of the EC where the collation was taking place. The directive to the supporters to besiege the constituency collation centers was targeted at destroying documentary evidence and pink sheets, ballot papers, results, collation forms, computers, and to erase and wipe out all documents to be used for the collation. Madam Mensa noted that, Mrs., she's not Madam, noted that collation processes across all centers were proceeding in accordance with the provisions of Constitutional Instrument CI 127 until violent disruptions occurred. The presence of hundreds of supporters who besieged our collation centers brought proceedings to a standstill in a number of the centers. In some instances, they vandalized and destroyed a desktop computer set up to collate the results electronically. She disclosed that some staff faced threats of death and were coerced into declaring results without following due process. Quote, this is unacceptable. It is important to know that the declarations made by our staff were made under threat and the Commission considers this illegal. Those declarations, as well as others that have gone on in other constituencies, will not be upheld by the Commission. It says Ghana cannot afford to encourage a situation where, depending on one's might, one can determine the outcome of elections. Quote, as a country, we should not go down that slippery slope. We therefore use this occasion to humbly call on the President of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as well as our President-elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to intervene in this matter to ensure that the Commission is provided with the necessary security and protection to carry out its function. And the EC also urged the National Election Security Task Force to coordinate efforts and establish measures to safeguard its staff. She says, our mandate is not to make anybody a president or a member of parliament. Our mandate is simply to conduct credible, transparent, and fair processes that uphold the choice of the voters. In a related development, the Director of Elections and IT for the NDC, Dr. Eduardo Manibuama, whose mother is celebrating her birthday today, has firmly stated that there will be no recollation of parliamentary results in some constituencies as announced by the Electoral Commission. Dr. Manibuama's comments were made in a Facebook post yesterday where he cautioned the EC against what he described as an attempt to undermine the will of the people. This development comes after the press conference, what I read to you earlier. Now, Dr. Omanibuama accused the EC of acting under instructions from the governing NPP to reduce the NDC's two-thirds majority in the upcoming 9th Parliament. He described the alleged attempt as undemocratic and warned that the NDC will not tolerate any efforts to tamper with the declared results. His post emphasized that the party would resist any recollation moves by the EC. Quote, useless press conference by Jean Mensa. She has obviously been instructed by NPP to dilute the two-third majority of NDC, but she will fail. She must not tempt us beyond our endurance. We mean business. At all constituencies where the declaration was not done, the Electoral Commission Ghana must have pink sheets that show the NDC won. Instead of agreeing with our demand for an emergency IPAC meeting, she has decided to hide to avoid critical questions being asked at the IPAC meeting. So he says, useless press conference by Jean Mensa. She has obviously been instructed by NPP to dilute the two-thirds majority of NDC, but she will fail. She must not tempt us beyond our endurance. We mean business. Nii?
Ronnie, thank you so much. First, let me say this. I've always maintained that Jean Mensa is a problem for this country.
Why?
Because at least I'm old enough to have seen 3 EC bosses. I saw Justice Annan, I saw Afarijan, and I saw Charlotte Osei. And today, Jean Mensa. never in the history of our elections have we had a EC boss who is always followed by soldiers. Soldiers. Never in the history have I had a EC boss whose house were having soldiers as security detail. When you are very transparent, you are open, when you are able to build trust and confidence in the people, you don't need armed people.
But
to provide security.
I drive past the house, even this morning. There's no security there.
You sure?
Oh, yes.
You enter the house?
No, you normally would have seen them outside, but there's
no vehicle parked there.
No longer.
No longer.
No longer.
Okay, no longer.
Yes,
I'm happy you are using
no, this
no
year.
longer.
In fact, this year I've not seen the armored vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I stayed close to Charlotte.
Yes.
And all I could see was one policeman at a post. So, what is it that made her so scared of her own life that she would want to have not policemen but soldiers?
This is your threat.
Which threats?
Your threat.
Which threats? Which EC boss in this country have never been threatened before? All of them have lived through threats. Because election is about passion, it's election about people's interest. And as such, when their interest is at variance with the interest of the establishment, they will say all sorts of things. But they've all lived. The Afrajan has left the office. He walks through the streets of Accra. No one has even thrown a pebble at him. Charlotte goes round. She's a free person. It is only when you yourself...
I was there on Sunday.
Thank you.
In fact, we meet every Sunday.
Thank you. At church?
Yes.
Yeah. She comes to church?
Alone.
Alone?
Yeah. Or with kids.
You know, it is only when you are not sure of what you're doing yourself, you are not sure whether you are attracting the confidence, the interest, and the support of the majority of Ghanaians, is when you live in fear. So you've imposed the fear on yourself because of your own attitude and demeanor.
Is it not because of, the controversy surrounding the removal of Charlotte Osei and then her appointment, so that the whole appointment then started with this high level of mistrust that President Akufo-Addo had deliberately taken Charlotte out, just got in, what's the name of the lawyer, to do that petition, Maxwell Opoku-Agyeman, to do that petition, to boot her out and to install his own person and all that. So it looks like she came into office under the cloak of that mistrust and suspicion. So anything she did...
Randy, it's not wholly true. Let me give you an example. What happened to the replacement of Domelewo? Was it not the same circumstance? People thought that Domelewo has been removed and somebody else.
I'm sure a lot of people don't even know the name of the person.
That person has been able to engender trust.
That's Johnson, right?
Yes. Engender trust in the whole society. Does it work with soldiers? No. People are now even questioning, is that a sort of Auditor General that Akufo-Addo brought? You see, it is when you know that people have illusions about how you will be appointed, it is for you to engender trust through your actions, pronouncements.
What has she done? Is it because you don't have your way?
Really? I'm not the only Ghanaian.
No, I'm just saying, is it because anytime you have a position, you have a position which is contrary to her position?
Not really.
Okay.
Because even when Charlotte was there, we had positions which were contrary to her position.
Right.
But I did get to this level. So, you can see that at every point in time, one of the main issues I have had with Jane, it hurts me that she comes from my constituency.
Why should they hurt you?
She disappointed me because the people, the women from my constituency are women who are assertive and women who speak the truth no matter what. You see, when you were at IEA, you insisted on certain things being done to make the electoral system more transparent and accountable to the people, to engender great and trust in the people. And then you assume the position. And then the same issues that you were talking about, what you were forcing Charlotte and the rest to do, you come into that position and you are reluctant to do the same thing. Immediately right from there, you become an hypocrite. let me take this issue. No. Why would you can ask for recount at that police station? Post that. There's no way you can ask. You can only ask for collation at the collation center. Mensa is only responsible for the presidential ballot and not constituency and parliamentary elections. I would have wished that she insulates herself from this issue and make the district officers responsible for the so-called instances of collation you're talking about.
And her response.
Yes. So I'm saying that, why are you changing the goalposts at this particular time? The same situation, the same scenario. Even in Techiman, 6 people were killed. You understand? So, even in that instant, you access to go to the court. In situations where a fly has not been stepped on, an ant has not been killed, that one you are not asking them to go to the court, but you are arrogating to yourself that authority to declare that declaration, that collation and that declaration as illegal. On what basis?
So the first time this issue came up, that we discussed, this issue of claims that people were coerced and all that, then a very, very, very senior lawyer sent this to me. So I went back on my phone to check it. It says, coercion and duress are issues of evidence to be established in court. Nobody has the power or right to determine that. It's an issue of fact to be established in court by leading credible evidence. In short, there are factual issues which have to be established by credible and cogent evidence in a court of competent jurisdiction, period. What if NDC also raised those issues for constituencies they also lost? Will the EC hold the same position? So he says that the best forum, the impartial is the court. And he's saying that if there's evidence of this, it will constitute.
When I was listening to the constituencies, then I heard them mentioning Dominic Abenya.
Yes.
I said, Dominic Abenya, Gabo himself, I've accepted. He was there when the declaration. He met his constituency. But I have the video where he said, look, election is not about life. If we've lost, let's go do our things well, and then we'll come
really?
Back. Yes! Gabo himself addressing his party supporters.
No, I thought that video where he was addressing the party supporters had to do with when he lost the primaries to address.
No,
not this one.
No, the elections.
Because this one with Dominic Abenya, I heard the EC boss say that there were problems with 3 polling stations. That all had been declared, but for 3, there were problems with 3 polling stations.
And the returning officer declared it. He finished collation. They went there themselves. They sat there. Gabo came there. Eloquent came there. It was collated and declared.
Okay.
You understand? 2, Obuasi East. The MP, my
was
very
there.
good
I've
friend,
seen that
was
video.
there.
I've seen the video.
When the declaration was done.
I've seen the video.
And the MP did not raise any objection to it.
I've seen that video.
And, you understand? So it raises questions about the propriety of Mensa's assertion.
And then I've seen a video of Tema Central too.
Tema Central.
The person who claims that he was the person who claimed that he was threatened or whatever. And you see the video of the declaration.
Yes. And there was nothing there.
It doesn't seem to support what he says.
So I'm saying that when you do those things, you make the other side think that there is something really you want to do. To me, look, if those 4 which had already been declared, if there are problems with it should go to court. They should send their evidence to court and prove that truly there were problems with the collation. Certain polling stations are not being collated. The 5 others, it is for you to meet with the parties and say, look, this is, because you know our candidate Nakwetia has raised an issue that they were all asked to bring the boxes and all those things to Chebi for recollation. Even though they reluctantly agreed. When they got to Chebi, all that they heard, without notice to them, all those things have been sent to Accra. You expect our people to carry all their people, the evidence they have, everything from Akwetia to Accra. Why? Jurisdiction. In every situation, jurisdiction is important. Now you moving them away from even Eastern region to Greater Accra. Why? For what purpose? In fact, Jane is making things difficult for all of us.
Your party is raising an issue. They say that there are court proceedings against the EC, that they have properly served the EC. Yet, in all the 2 media engagements that the EC has had, the EC is not even made reference
to the
court issue. Yeah. Meanwhile, this is an EC that when they receive notice of an injunction, or they even hear, they issue a statement. And so
you remember what happened during our presidential primary?
Yes, and so they believe that the EC is up to something.
Yes.
For the EC not to even acknowledge and tell the public that, look, we have received this injunction. They do not mention it, and it's pretty obvious that they want to go ahead with the recollation, although there are legal proceedings prevent or asking them to stop what they are doing. So they're conveniently pretending that they do not have any notice of any court proceedings, although according to Eduji and some of your lawyers, they have been properly
duly served. You see, my worry is that NDC, for example, we have serious issues about Wejagbawe. Wejagbawe, serious. But when the EC was mentioning those constituencies, they conveniently excluded Wejagbawe.
Maybe you've not made a formal complaint.
We have.
You have?
We have.
Okay.
We have. You see, so this is what I said from the beginning, that her actions and pronouncements and demeanor makes one side of the divide have a feeling that she has something sinister against us.